Hello, good evening. Whew. Welcome to our Winter Sports Awards. Have a few thank yous before we get started to Mr. Josh Phillips. He's our right-hand man for myself and for our coaches. He does anything that's needed for us and also our student athletes. To Brian Beach and his crew, and to our transportation crew, there were quite a few changes this year in our winter sports, and Rex was awesome about changing the bus situation for us. And also, as always, our administration and Board of Education for your continued support in our athletic programs. Thank you. And thank you to all our parents, our fans. Our student section this year was absolutely amazing. And thank you to anyone who submitted any photos this year. They were just outstanding, and they're great to have for our awesome memories. Before we get started, I do have a little safety issue. When our athletes do come up, there are like big 4x4s in the way, so please be careful that you don't trip when you come up on the stage. Also, I made 60 copies of the program. However, we ran out. Mrs. Fowler is currently making some more, and I will also submit the file to Mr. Art McCormick, and he will put them on our website, and then you can print them in color if you like. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I don't know why that came out. Art Trombley. I don't know why that came out. I'm so sorry. That was weird. My bad. Make a mistake every day. There it is. Thank you to James Campbell. He was our NC for our varsity games. He did a really nice job. Thank you. And just a special thank you to everybody. And a little shout out to our merged programs. We had a merged program with boys ice hockey and girls ice hockey. Liam Green played for Malone as a 9th grader on the varsity team. And Olivia Cook had an outstanding career playing ice hockey for Malone since the 7th grade, I believe. She was amazing. And she earned a all-star, second team all-star this year, which is quite impressive. We have 9 teams to recognize, so we will get started with our girls' Modify coach.
You made it. Well, thank you. All right, so I want to start with the thank yous to administration, Mrs. Dwyer, Mrs. Fowler, the Board of Education, and the real MVP of all this, Mrs. Reynolds, for all that she does, all the changes, especially in this crazy year. So we went 5-8 this year, and it doesn't show the true potential of this team. This team, if you've watched them, they're scrappy, they're gritty, they're resilient, and they're a little crazy. These girls never shied away from any challenge, ever, on and off the court. When I mean off the court, I mean Googling at all the boys before or after our games. There's a couple at the end that are the worst, but it was still a pretty fun season. Just a couple of season highlights: beating Madwad twice. It's always fun to beat them. The 2 close wins against Colton, especially the buzzer beater in overtime here. Actually, the first game when we beat them in Colton, the girls even realized that they won the game until I told them. Yeah, tell me about it. Beating Parrishville when we went there after we lost to them by 24 points here. Loved it. They weren't too happy. We were, but. And then the big one, my favorite, is not traveling to Tupper Lake. So, all right, I'm going to talk about a little bit about each of the athletes. So I have 3 special awards. I'm going to do the best offensive player. So this young lady made such a huge contribution to our offense. For those who don't know, we scored 269 points, not 45 points throughout the whole season. Out of all those 269, she had 99 of those points. Some were very nice 3-pointers. I remember the biggest one was at St. Lawrence. Okay, that started that drive back. So the best offensive player goes to Tori Butchino. Next young lady. So she struggled a little bit offensively. She got better as the season went on, but where she lacked offensively, she made up tenfold with her defense. This young lady was always in the right spot at the right time. Ladies, I'm sure you can agree, she saved some of your butts countless times. So the best defensive player goes to Matea Carosella. All right, so the last award goes to a young lady that even though she likes to shoot field goals, and I mean over the backboard, 2-in-1 game, this young lady showed up last year with a little bit of experience, didn't play with a whole lot of confidence, but that was completely different this year. She showed up, she worked hard, and she actually played with a lot of confidence. And I remember St. Lawrence game, all that hard work paid off. It was your best game of the season, all around both sides of the courts. So the most improved award goes to Madison Compton. So the next young lady, unfortunately, she had a hard time making it through the whole season. She got quite excited and fell down some stairs. But unfortunately, while you were here, okay, you improved quite a bit. You're new to the sport, which is fun. You worked hard, you were fun, you loved your half-court shots. You did hit the backboard. I'm hoping that you play next year. I would love to have you back next year and see where you grow. Deanna Drake. All right, Braylon Nichols. So Braylon had quite a bit of task and challenges this year. There was many times I had to put her in a situation where she was uncomfortable and wasn't a huge fan. I didn't hear one complaint, not one. She had to guard a big girl from Madwad. Yes, Maddie, her name is Evie, I remember. That was probably the hardest match you've had against somebody. And your hard work paid off. She fouled out. Braylon was exhausted on that last shot that we had from that girl's last foul. So, Braylon, you really stepped it up this year. You're actually more confident with the ball, too. Good work, kid. All right, Jaden Yell. So, if anybody watched Jaden play, if there was anybody, when we were transitioning from defense to offense, there was always one person I could count that would get down that court no matter what. That was Jaden Yell. Jaden may lack in the fundamentals, but she improved as the season went on. There is nobody that would outwork her when it comes to getting up and down that court. Jaden, your efforts, your drive, your ambition to get better, okay, that's awesome. You can't teach that. We can teach you the skills. We can't teach you that hard work, that resilience. We can't teach you that, and that's even more important. Jaden, I'm kind of excited to see how you go as the years go on. No, Ava. Hannah Dror. Pronounce that right? Okay. So she's another newcomer to the sport. I remember the first game, she was quite nervous to get in there. She's like, I want to wait. I don't know what's happening. I want to wait. I'm like, where are you going to get in there? And that eventually went away pretty quick. And she was always somebody that I could count on in the game. She's gritty. I mean, she'd be all over the floor. And to be honest, you're one of the ideal athletes that a coach likes. Okay, you're cheering for your teammates when you're off the court, sitting on the bench. You're cheering for everybody. You work hard. You listen, and you can take a suck it up or two from a coach when we've got 30 seconds left in a quarter. All right, Hannah. All right. Last but not least, Quinn McGillicuddy. So Quinn is also a new one to the sport. And if I got $1 for every time I had to tell Quinn to tie her shoes, Mr. Reynolds, I'm sure that's quite familiar from elementary school, I'd be rich. Yeah, I think we'd have a track and a turf out there, turf fields out there. So Quinn was also new to the sport, and you know, she may be one of the goofiest people you guys have ever met. If you guys know of her, she is quite goofy. But when it comes to get serious, she's a hard worker. She pays attention, and I mean, she's quick on her feet. She's quick to understand things. And honestly, Quinn, you're a great overall teammate. So So looking at these girls, I'm not surprised that their overall GPA was a 92.82, so there's no surprise there. The following athletes are recognized for the Student Athlete Academic Excellence Awards, so it's an average of 90 or better. Tori, Matea, Deanna, Ava, Hannah, and Quinn. Ladies, thanks for the fun and wild season. You took everything I threw at you and you ran with it, even as frustrated as you got with me sometimes about all these changes, okay? But guess what? You did well, okay? I can't wait to see what your future looks like for the program here at Chateauguay. Next up is the Mod Boys with Coach Calvin.
All right, men, come on up. And Art McCormick, if you're here, I'd like to say thank you to you as well. What a career. All right. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Just want to say a quick thank you to Mrs. Reynolds again for taking care of our schedule and busing issues and doing my book all season long. She said she liked to do it because it was a good seat to watch the games, and I think she's right about that. I would like to say thank you to Coach Reynolds, Coach Mike Martin, Coach LaPlante for helping out, especially with these guys and their youth program up through the years. It's pretty nice to walk into the modified season, and these guys have already got a great love for the game, a great skill base, and just overall good knowledge of the game. So that's through to all their hard work, and I appreciate that, guys. I wanted to make a quick mention. I don't know if Jordan Martin's here, but Jordan kind of got me out of a jam last year at the start of the season. I had planned on coaching basketball with these guys who are 8th graders this year, and as the COVID struck our school and the rest of the world, it made it kind of hard on my family. So Jordan stepped up and said he'd be willing to coach the team. And this year I was able to repay the favor to him because he wanted to be sure he could be there for his dad and his brother. And I was happy to be able to take that position back. So I appreciate the board and Mrs. Fowler allowing that move to take place, and really enjoyed the season with these guys. Thank you to Josh and Giddings for being my sidekick on the bus and on the bench when you need another coach to talk to before you rip your hair out. Not because of these guys, of course, but... and thank you to Josh Phillips for all the help he did with setting up the gym and making sure we were all ready to go. We had a successful season, winning season, 7-6 record. I second that motion about not being able to go up to Tupper this year. That was okay in my book. But we did have a 7-6 record, which was an improvement from the previous year. And that's attributed to these guys' hard work and improvement throughout the season. I've got certificates for the guys and a little anecdote for each of them. I'm going to start out with Kanan Bell. Kanan, yeah, come on over, Kanan. I'll give you a certificate here. Kanan impressed me on the first day of practice when we did the Mikan drill, and he made 25, 30 layups in a minute, something like that. And I was just like, wow, this kid has really got it going on. And then I said, I feel like I've seen this before. Well, that's because I played with Kanan's dad, and he looked a lot like the way that his dad used to play. And so he runs like him, he jumps like him, he talks like him, he moves like him. So it's kind of cool to see, it's like kind of taking a walk down memory lane. But Kanan is a great player, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. Mr. Caden Carter. Caden is one of those guys that you just love to have on your team because he can do it all. He can pass, he has got a high basketball IQ, he can rebound, he can score, and he just knows where to be on the court at all times, and he does it all. He's a great addition to any team. Mr. Austin Dumont. Austin is super athletic. He is just naturally athletic kid. He has got you can see him flying around the court, and there's a couple times throughout the season where I put him on their best player, and I just said, lock him up, just stay in his pocket, and he always stepped up to the challenge and always accepted anything that we threw at him, and appreciate Austin's hard work this season. Zachary Helm. The only thing I can say about Zachary is he's a Helm. A couple times throughout the season when the other team was playing us physical, and sometimes you feel like you're a little bit outmatched. I could always count on Zachary to go in there and helm him. Tough, aggressive, and he'd always ask me, how many more fouls do I got? A couple times we got that five foul disqualification, but that's what they're there for, right, Zachary? No Landon tonight, but I just wanted to say I was really impressed with Landon Maloney this season. He had some hard times throughout the season, but he really responded well, and I wish Landon the best. No Liam tonight? No. Liam was an 8th grader and wasn't sure if he was going to play or not, and I was glad he stuck with it. Maxwell Clark. Maxwell is one of those guys that he'd be what I would call a great locker room guy. He just keeps things light and fun, but he also takes pride in the way that he plays, and I was really happy for him a couple times throughout the season. Anytime he'd score a bucket in a game, you could just see he'd jump and throw his hands in the air, and he was excited to play, but he earned it, and he put in the time, and he's very reliable, and you could always count on Max, so I appreciate that, Max. Drew Crawford. Drew was relatively new to the sport. I was afraid after also going to high school with his father that he might be a hockey player, but he dodged the bullet there, and he's taken up basketball, and he is one that's shown great improvement since the start of the season and beyond that as well. Just making great strides and doing all the right things, and I think Drew's going to make a career out of this. Good job, Drew. Ben Leonard. Despite being a Duke fan, I still really liked having Ben around. Ben's one of those guys, he's just got a really high basketball IQ. He watches the game, he studies the game, knows everything there is to know about college and pros and everything like that. He's always drawing up plays and talking about things like that. And I think Ben's going to be a coach someday if he wants to be, if he could be. And he's got a lot of skills in place right now. And I can't wait to see him grow up and mature. And that's one of the fun parts about Modified, is seeing these guys develop throughout their career. Great job, man. Last but not least, Jakey Reynolds. Jake is one tough competitor. He goes all out at all times, and I love that about him. He loves practice, which any coach will tell you is a great thing. If I told the boys that they were going to have a Friday off or the weekend off, he's, oh, God, why? Then it comes to find out he's ice fishing somewhere or doing something. He had plans. He made a backup plan always, but he does love to practice and he loves to work, and Jake's going about all the things the right way, and he's putting in the work, and he's going to get great results as he gets older. Unlike Coach Giddings, I am surprised to see this team GPA. 93.14 overall GPA for these boys. Very impressive. The academic awards, I've included them in your packets there, guys. You don't need to come over and get them, but that's Kanan Bell, Caden Carter, Zach Helm, Max Clark, Drew Crawford, Ben Leonard, and Jake Reynolds. I'm very proud of these guys. They put in a lot of great work, and I'm proud of the success that we had. Look forward to watching them all in the future. Seems like just yesterday I had some of their older brothers on my team in the Modified back when we were the Bulls and the Dogs. And Now those guys are all grown up, and you guys will be soon too. So it goes fast. Enjoy every minute of it. All right, thanks, guys. Up next, Coach Johnson.
Oh, look at that, they're right behind me. Come on up, girls. Everybody else already followed up. All right, good evening, everyone. You guys can stand right here. I'd like to thank you all for coming, support all of our athletes tonight. We had another great group of parents this year. Thank you for all your support. Special thank you goes to the same thank yous as everybody else, but I have to do it. Okay, the Board of Education, the administration staff, custodial staff, Mr. Josh Phillips, and Babs for all their hard work and dedication to our athletic program. There's so much that gets done behind closed doors to make our program so successful, and I get to witness it every day. So it's a lot of work to make it the way it is. I'd also like to thank Chris and Joe for helping me throughout the season, through every practice we practiced together, every game we're pretty much together, always helping me when you need another coach to talk to during games and during practices. Mikey and Weasel, whenever we have a gym conflict for whatever reason, okay, we're always in a group chat and we can move practices around whenever if something pops up. Not a lot of schools, their coaching staff works together like ours does. So I just want to thank those guys for really helping out whenever we need help, okay? Well, team's already up here, so I guess we'll just move on to the certificates. So we got everybody? Just Ainsley Crawford. Here, hold on. Good job. Allison Duma. John is not here. Chloe Hamilton. Jamie Lynn Helm. Morgan Millark. Good job, Morgan. Peyton Parmiter. Good job, Peyton. And we have three awesome managers behind me right now. Maya McComb. Good job, Maya. Chloe Parmiter. And Jaden Johnston. Yeah, I'll take those. Good job. First, I want to start by thanking the managers. These three girls worked really hard to make our team, get everything ready for our team, the water bottles constantly, the uniforms, the basketballs. Plus, I have 7 girls on my team, so these 3 made 10. They were involved in a lot of different drills and back and forth stuff in the gym, and they were awesome, awesome managers. I look forward to these girls starting play for Chateaugay in the future, 2 of them next year, so it'll be awesome. This year started a little different than most seasons. We only had 1 returning JV player. Having only 1 girl play JV put a little bit more pressure on the girls and I to get up to speed a little quicker than normal. I was excited to start this season with this great group of girls, but I was anxious to see what our season would bring. We came out of the gates flying. We won 4 out of our first 6 games. This year there wasn't a lot of schools in our section that had girls JV basketball, so we had to fill our schedule with a bunch of different games from a lot larger schools. We played hard in those games and showed improvement throughout the season. Our overall record, we finished 6-8. Regardless of what that final record was, these girls improved drastically throughout the season. Part of my coaching philosophy is that we get a little better every day. And I think that these girls did exactly that. Every day, they got a little bit better. From the first day of practice, they were dedicated to improving. They worked hard in practice to develop their skills, and I could see them getting better every day because of their work ethic. They came to practice and play every day. This is my 13th year coaching this team, and this is the most improved team I've had since the beginning. Okay, they worked really hard. They goofed off just like they all do, but they were still there to work hard every single day. I am very excited for next season because we will be starting our first practice with many experienced JV players that can help the new members of our team instead of just the one. As for our special awards, I chose not to give any special awards to our team tonight because our team is so small that each one of these girls qualified for each category at different times throughout the season. Each one of them improved drastically on both sides of the ball and was extremely valuable to our season. We do have some student athlete academic excellence awards to hand out. And those students, which the other teams already mentioned, if they're being recognized for their academic success with an average of 90% or higher while participating in the basketball season. 4 girls earn that award and will receive a certificate. Those 4 girls are Ainsley Crawford. Yeah, you can come back. Where are they? What did I do with them? There it is. Good job, Ainsley. Here, it goes again. Allison Duma. Good job, Allison. Chloe Hamilton. Good job, Chloe. And Jamie Lynn Helm. Good job, Jamie. So the team's combined second quarter average, the GPA was 94.64. I think that is absolutely amazing how much time that we put into basketball. It's 2 or 3 hours a night, and when we go to an away game, it's 6, 7 hours a night. So to have that type of average is just amazing. And for the 2 modified teams, also in the high 90s or the mid 90s, that's awesome. To the girls that are going to be playing varsity, okay, I'd like to say thank you for everything you did, and Mr. Reynolds is going to be lucky to have you on varsity next year. And I want to say thank you for all these great athletes for an amazing season. Every single one of you contributed to this year's JV girls basketball team. This is yet again one great group of girls to work with, and I look forward to seeing the great things you will accomplish. Thank you, and Mr. Jason LaPlante will be up with the boys JV next. Don't trip. Watch it be me now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start off like everyone else and just put our thank yous out to the administration and the Board of Education, Mr. Phillips, who is just a great person to have around, Mrs. Reynolds for everything she does, as Jeff said, all the coaches, Mikey and Jordan, obviously, always doing everything together. Jordan stepping up this year when I missed a game, coached these guys to a victory and taking some practices so I could go watch Ireland play, so thank you. Sam, Charlie, James, and Pete, thank you for taping all the games this year. I think all the players and the coaches enjoy your commentary as well. So we appreciate having the film and not having to worry about that, but also the fun comments. Congrats to all the teams this year, and we'll get started. I'm going to echo Mr. Callan's thing with the average. I just asked Mrs. Reynolds if this was real. 90. I'm impressed because the guys that receive this award, you guys must all have 100 averages, because the guys that don't, I've seen some of their averages. So you guys must all have a 100 average. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to hand that award out for the Student Athlete Academic Excellence Award, James Campbell. Cameron Dumont. Grant Laughlin. Jeffrey Stimson. And Adam Perkins. Nice job. Johnny, maybe you'll get one next year. Our season, we finished 14-4, which is a huge improvement from last year where we finished, I believe, 11-8. We were 11-1 in the league, and they were declared the D East League champions. The one game we lost was in St. Lawrence. We were missing our 2 leading scorers, and we went into the fourth quarter down by 25, and we had it down to 3 with a minute left. So these guys never gave up. That was a pretty cool comeback. I remember Mikey came out of the locker room and was like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. Charlie hit a couple threes, and James threw one up, and maybe the next thing you know, we were back in the game. So they had a great season. We went down to Sackett's Harbor. They won the Charlie Bridge tournament, so that was a nice job against some good teams down there. Dylan Beja and Xavier were all tournament team not here, and Grant Lachlan was actually named MVP of the tournament, so good job to that. Let's see here. We started the year with 19 kids. We had tryouts. We went down to 12. And this is kind of what it looked like all year. We never really knew. There was sickness, and Mike and Jordan and I'd walk in the gym, and we'd have 7 guys. We'd go to a game, and we'd have 6. Next game, we'd have all 12, and then there'd be 5.5 the next game. I don't even know what was going on, but it was always next man up, so that was cool. They never got upset. They never worried about who was there or wasn't there, and they just came to play every night. So we have 1 freshman on the team. That is it, Adam Perkins. See here? Adam, come on up, buddy. Adam's a really hard worker. He put in a lot of work this year. He improved a lot, and he's going to be the only sophomore next year, I think. So he's going to have to be a leader for this JV squad next year. Jarrett Yaddo. We talked about like a next man up thing. I think we had I can't remember exactly who we were playing, but got in the game there in about the first quarter, and went in immediately, hit like 3 threes in like 32 seconds, and 14 points. See, Charlie knows. So, and then we're in the locker room after, we're joking. I said, "Man, it's a great game." He goes, "That's more points than I have in my entire career, including biddy basketball, practice, and everything else." So he had a great time. He's a great kid, and he worked really hard as well. Braden's not here. Jeffrey Stimson. Another very hard worker. Jeffrey's a very good defensive player. Still trying to hone in on his offensive skills, but defensively always did what we asked, went in and guarded. Could be a big guy, could be their point guard, and just a pleasure to have around. No Zachary. Grant Lachlan. Grant is a tremendous hustler, guy you love to have on the team, a great defender. Through the year offensively, he was up and down, started working out towards the end of the year, so his shot got a little off, but he does have some guns on him now. But he, despite his size, was never intimidated by anybody, led our team in rebounding a lot, despite his size, even though we have a lot of big guys, and really looking forward to him next year. X-Man's not here. Cameron? Kenneth? No? Cameron Dumont. Another wonderful kid to have around, loves the game, plays really hard, plays great defense, will guard the other team's center, will guard their point guard. A lot of times had to run the point guard for us, which I'm not sure was his favorite thing to do, but he never got down on himself, and another kid to be very excited about next year on the varsity team. James Campbell. Thanks, buddy. James, obviously a big guy. He very skilled, actually has a pretty nice shot, likes to get on the post. He improved a great deal from last year. Also just as funny of a guy you could have around. If you were in Norwood, Norfolk this year, maybe, I don't know if it's a highlight ever, but did not have his shorts, so we told him to go find a pair, and in typical James fashion, he didn't give up, and he searched every locker room and asked every adult he could, and somewhere down in the elementary school, he found a pair of spandex shorts. And I don't know if James is a good-sized man. He was wearing a small pair of spandex shorts. And I walked in the locker room, and the guy said, Coach, you can't let him wear these. And I said, why? And he stood up, and I understood why immediately, which became uncomfortable for everybody. But we decided to go with it, and he went out on the court, and he was warming up and doing some aerobics in them because he just is that kind of guy. And Mike and I had one of the officials go mess with him and tell him he couldn't wear those shorts, and it was fun, and James took it well, but he was out there, and Mrs. Brielle, I should have had you put a picture up here on the thing, because I did yell across, and she had him, but I don't know if it would be appropriate for the young children in here. But it was a fun moment, and just kind of sums up this group of guys. And lastly, Charlie Brielle. Another very, very improved player from last year. This year started most games, big presence inside for us, developed some post moves. Unfortunately, he has hurt his knee, and now he has to get knee surgery, which, he loves the game, and he'll be back next year, but just a great kid, and hopefully improves as much for next year as he did this year. And that's all I got. James, you have anything? All right, well. Huh? Good season. Thanks, buddy. All right, so good job, guys. And next, I believe, is Mrs. Lachlan with cheerleading.
So I too would like to start by thanking Mrs. Fowler and Mrs. Dwyer and members of the board who always support our cheer and athletic programs. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Reynolds for all the work she does and for making sure to keep me updated as I'm not in the building during the day. And this year, like last year, there were a lot of changes. So she was really good about making sure that I had plenty of notice so we could let everybody know on the team also. Also a big shout out to Josh. He was always great and helped us with our mats. And if you've ever seen us come down the hallway with the mats, we are a production. And beginning of the year, it takes like 8 of us to lift the mats. End of the year, 2. But so it shows how much they improve in their strength throughout the season also. And finally, a big thank you to my family because they are always supporting me and encouraging me on all my endeavors. And to start with, we had a great year. We had 11 cheerleaders this year. I had 4 new girls and 7 returning cheerleaders. And we started our year learning the fundamentals of cheer and preparing for our first games. Varsity cheer is a bit different, and my new team members got to experience being on a modified JV and varsity team all in one season. Returning team members all pitch in and help to make our team shine. Whether it be to help others get more comfortable with what they have all recently learned, and we do throw a lot at them in the first few weeks and it can be overwhelming, or our other groups that go off to start working on new material for our team. We grew a lot this year with our stunting and we really took it to the next level, and it's because we had such a great, well-rounded team. Unfortunately, due to all the inclement weather messing with our schedule and sickness, we were unable to perform our routine at the end of the season. But we do have a good head start for next year. First up, I'd like to talk about Lily Stevens, who's a freshman. Lily is a first-year cheerleader. Lily has great determination and perseverance. Lily is not a fan of overly high heights, even though she looks like she would be your perfect flyer. But she was always up for trying a stunt, and if she wasn't comfortable, she easily slid into another position and gave it her all. She had a great attitude and always had a smile. I'm so proud of how far she improved this year, and I'm excited to see what she can achieve next year. Lily is also being recognized as an Academic Excellence Award. Haley Rion, also a freshman and first-year cheerleader. Haley started the season tentatively, but soon found her groove and really began to grow as a cheerleader. Haley is a solid base and really helped us to push our stunts to the next level. Haley is strong, but more importantly, reliable and safe. Flyers knew, and I knew, that she would do whatever she could to keep everyone safe. She had a great year, and it made me so happy to see her confidence grow. Congratulations, Haley. Maddie DeCoste is sick this evening, so I just wanted to do a shout out to her. She's also an academic excellence award receiver and was a big part of our team. And Brianna Fortin, who also could not be here this evening. Kenzie Jarvis. Kenzie is a sophomore and second-year cheerleader. Kenzie's a great cheerleader and an athlete. She works hard on the team and is always willing to help out her teammates. Kenzie is a base, and her natural ability and intuition make her a great all-around cheerleader. She is upbeat and positive and is growing into a great leader on this team. Okay. Maya Simonson, junior and second-year cheerleader. Maya is always upbeat and positive. She is a great teammate and cheerleader. Maya is a primary spotter and always keeps a cool head and gives direction to her stunt group and keeps her stunts from moving safe and completing. Maya is always so excited when she figures out something that has been a struggle, and her positive attitude is a huge help to all her teammates. Maya is a hard worker and has great perseverance and is a wonderful cheerleader. Maya also is being recognized for her academic excellence. Haley Beja. Haley is a senior and a first-year cheerleader. I'm so glad Haley decided to give cheer a try. Haley was so much fun to have on the team. She tried all aspects of cheer and found her strengths and worked hard on improving in all areas. Haley has great versatility and was a base, a spotter, and a flyer. She has a great attitude and added so much to our team as a whole. It was so much fun watching her grow so much in one season. Best wishes to you, Haley, and thanks for being part of our team. Here's where it starts getting a little harder. Grace Bombard, senior and four-year cheerleader. Grace is the heart of our team. She is so excited and happy to try any new cheer ideas and is just so excited about all aspects of cheer. Grace is a primary spotter as well as a base. Grace has grown so much these past 4 years. She's a hard worker and has grown so much with her confidence. Her hard work has made her blossom into a great cheerleader and a beautiful young lady. She will be greatly missed next year, but I know she will do great things on her future endeavors. Grace is also being honored for academic excellence, as was Haley Beja. Sorry. Grace? Hannah LeBear, senior and four-year cheerleader. Hannah is such a hard worker and has such a great attitude. She offers so much to our team. She is always positive and encouraging to her teammates. She has helped our team grow so much these last few years. She's a primary spotter and base. Her patience and perseverance will take her far on all future plans. It has been a pleasure to watch you grow into such a fine young woman. Thank you for letting me be your coach. And Hannah is also being recognized for academic excellence. Becca Miller. Becca is a senior and a four-year cheerleader. Becca is a great all-around cheerleader and a great person. Becca has helped our team grow and be better every year. Becca is a leader and just gets what it is to be a cheerleader. She excels in all areas of cheer and is in a base and a flyer. I can always count on Becca to help her teammates and to push herself and her team to do their best. Becca will do great things, and I wish her all the best next year, but I will miss you terribly. Becca is also being recognized as an Academic Excellence Award. Finally, before I start with the last cheerleader, I also want to recognize, I had athletes of distinction who are being recognized as seniors for maintaining a 90 or above average throughout their high school career, and that's Becca Miller, Emma Laughlin, Haley Beja, no, Hannah LeBaire, and Grace Bombard. Congratulations, guys. Emma Laughlin is a senior and a four-year cheerleader. Emma was not sure she wanted to cheer back when she was a freshman. In fact, she had signed up for basketball. However, she decided to change her mind and join the cheer team with her two best friends, Grace and Becca. Emma has never looked back since. I'm very proud of Emma and the passion she has for cheer and her team. Emma even did her senior project on a cheer camp to help kids have an opportunity to try cheer and see what it is all about with the hopes of continuing to grow our CCS program. Emma is a natural leader and was no less this year to her team. She worked so hard for her team both in and out of school. She spent countless hours outside of practice on cheer, whether it be with her cheer camp and getting that organized or doing things for her team. Emma is extremely determined, sometimes a little scary in her determination, but she is always with the best intentions of having those around her shine and do their best, because she wants us all to succeed. Emma is a primary base, and this year became a primary flyer, conquering her fear, embracing her natural ability. Emma pushes me as her mother and a coach, and I thank her for always making me confident to push more for my team. I will miss Emma dearly at practice next year, but I know she is destined for great things in her future. Emma? Coaching cheer has brought me so much joy. There is nothing like watching a team grow as individuals and as a team. The skills they learn at being part of a team, working with others, communicating, fulfilling obligations, perseverance, and more, those are things that teach them that they can live with forever and make them blossom into amazing individuals and do great things. And we have a lot of fun along the way, too. Thank you guys for another great season. Next up is bowling with Mrs. Carrie Blair Wilcox. Oh.
All right, so I over-prepare and have big folders, and I apologize. I'm also going to echo thank you to Mrs. Fowler, Mrs. Dwyer, also Mrs. Calnan, working in the elementary. There's a lot of juggling that has to happen with our schedules as well in our classrooms. The Board of Education for continuing to support the bowling team at CCS. We don't get the luxury of using staff here at CCS, so I would also like to thank Jody Warner and the town of Chateauguay, who are continuing to allow us to have our own bowling alley here in Chateauguay and not having to travel anywhere else. And hopefully, we will have new lanes and scoring next year, so our fingers are crossed for that, which will be exciting if that happens. And also our parents and our families. We have a lot of support with our families and great attendance, even when we have to travel to Harrisville 2 hours away. Poor Kim, who got to see, two frames of a game when she traveled to Harrisville, but we are really lucky to have such a great support. Our boys and girls both finished second place this year at sectionals. Our boys were 3-3, and our girls finished the season 4-2. Part of that was due to the fact that we lost quite a few seniors last year. So our kids had to step up and take the reins, and they did a really good job. And I'm super excited to not have any seniors this year. So they're all going to be back and taking care of business next year. So I'm going to start with our 7th graders. To be on the team as a 7th and 8th grader, you have to be in the top 8 average by the end of our 12th practice game. And so if you're not, then we just classify you as JV. So our first 7th grader is Jack. Is he here? No. So he made the team as a JV player, and he finished the season with a 99 average. Our next 7th grader, who was part of the varsity program, is Joey Tropridge. We are super excited to have Joey join our team. He came a little bit late. I think we had started the season, it had been maybe a week or two into the season, and he moved here, and we were really excited to find out that he was a bowler. And Joey brought a ton of energy to our team. Everybody needs a Joey on their team because he is amazing and fun and one of the most encouraging kids I've ever met, ever. So, and he just brought a lot of life to our team as a 7th grader. So I know that we'll get that to continue on as we go through over the years. He ended up averaging at the end of the season with a 106, but I know that he's going to improve greatly in the years to come. Our next 7th grader is Kelsey Riley. Kelsey is one of the hardest working people I know. I remember her in 4th grade. She was a hard worker, so I knew when she joined the bowling team that she was going to be just as hard of a worker. She has a lot of great skills. She studies, bowling on how she should be throwing the ball, and she improved a lot as the season went on. And I remember telling her mom, don't worry, she will improve. She will get over that 100 average by the end of the season, and she did. And she ended up finishing the season with a 108 average. So she's one of my most coachable kids that I've ever had. So I'm excited to see her continue on as the years go on. 8th grade bowlers, we've got Jeslyn Johnson. This is Jeslyn's 2nd year on the bowling team. She also is another hard worker. She also is a really good help to her teammates. She's a really strong, she encourages her team a lot. She works really hard. She doesn't get down on herself too much, sometimes, but not too much. I was excited when she traveled with us down to States to watch that whole experience, because I know that for her, I think that will help propel her to reach for that goal to hopefully get to States in the years to come. And she finished the season with a 120 average, and that's 10 points higher than last year's average, so she's getting better every year. Our next 8th grader is Lucas Hostler. Lucas is quiet and humble and determined and has he studies the game a lot. He wants to learn how to score. He wants to learn how to throw his ball correctly. He wants to have 20 balls so he can change and use one for dry pattern and one for heavy oil. But he's good about knowing what he needs to do to change and to adjust to the breakdown and to whatever the oil pattern throws at him. This is his 2nd year in a row qualifying for the varsity program. He grew tremendously from last year to this year. And I remember when he went to States to watch Lena bowl, he said, Carrie, you're going to see me next year at States. And didn't that little stinker? He made it to States. Not only made it to States, but he's our top bowler as an 8th grader with a 176 average. Our 9th grade bowlers, we have Daniel Sparling. No Sparlings, okay. I have all the Sparlings. This was his first year. He didn't start right at the beginning of the season. He had some issues getting his physical, so he only ended up with an 83 average, but for his first year, I thought he did a really good job. Luke Carlisto? No? Oh, I really had nice things to say about Luke. This is also his first year bowling, and he finished with a 115 average. Gage Finnell. This is also Gage's first year bowling. But he bowled in youth for a number of years, so I was excited when he decided to come over to bowling this year. He worked really hard to improve his game. He finished the year with a 121 average, and I really look forward to seeing how he improves in the years in the future. Michaela Sweet. This is Michaela's third year on the bowling team. She's also made a lot of improvements. She's going from throwing a backup ball to a straight ball to going in on the right side of the head pin. She's not sure which way she wants to throw the ball, but she's working on it. But she's doing a really good job, and she's determined. And that's one word that I can always use to describe Michaela. She is determined, and she's always going to do her best and put her best foot forward. And Michaela finished with a 102 average this year. Chloe? No, Chloe. All right, so no Logan. Aiden? Compton? Oh, my gosh. Well, this is good because I do have 20 bowlers, so this is going to go a lot faster. James? James Carlock? This is James' first year bowling on the team, and boy, am I glad that he came to bowling. Sorry, I stole him from basketball. You would not know that this was his first year bowling because he is incredibly strong. He always hovered between like our 4th, 5th, and 6th position on the bowling team. He improved with every practice, with every match. He got better and better. I'm beyond proud of how well he did this year, and I can't wait to see how much he's going to improve in the years to come. He finished first year season with a 142 average. Lena. My little Lena, this is her 4th year bowling on the team, her 2nd year qualifying for states. Her skills have improved greatly, and I've seen her confidence grow as well with that. And that's really nice to see because she was this shy little peanut when she first started bowling, and now she's just blossoming into this great, confident bowler. I'm really proud of all of her accomplishments, and I know that her strength and her leadership is going to bring a lot to this team. And she was our highest female bowler with a 142 average, and that's 9 points higher than last year. Elizabeth? Oh, she's hiding in the corner. This is Lizzie's first year on our bowling team. We stole her from Malone, which I'm very happy to say. Over the course of the season, I've seen her grow tremendously. She has finally found her voice. She started out really quiet and meek, but she's fitting right in beautifully. She's a hard worker. She's a strong bowler. And I'm really excited to see what next year brings with her. And she finished the season with a 110 average. Connor Sweet. This is Connor's 3rd year on the bowling team. He is probably one of our most dedicated bowlers. He will stay after bowling to practice as long as Jody will let him. A lot of times Jody is shutting off the lights and is like, you have to get out of here because it's time for me to go home. And I think Connor would stay there all night if he could, just because he wants to improve his game, and I really appreciate that about him. I know that he loves to see when a strike happens, the pins just fly, and that's his goal. So that's what he's always looking for. And I appreciate that about him, and I'm excited to see his progression. I know next year, his senior year, is going to be his year. He's going to do it because he's been proving himself every year. And he finished with a 148 average. No John. No Kobe. All right, Keaton. Keaton Secor, sorry. So this was Keaton's third year on the bowling team. He bowled for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade, took a little hiatus, thought, I'm going to take a little break, and then decided to come back to us, and I'm really glad he did. We're really happy to have him back. Keaton has an energy and a way about working with the other bowlers that is really nice. Like, he has a way of talking to the kids, he has a way of working with the kids, and I'm really impressed with that with him. He's so helpful to the younger bowlers, and he's extremely supportive of everyone. He's one that kind of keeps his head level, and that just keeps everybody else's head level, which is really nice. He doesn't get too caught up in, he misses, a ball, he throws it in the gutter, he misses a spare, he comes right back and he gets a strike his next ball. So he just keeps that level head, and I really appreciate that, because that's a lot of great leadership that we have on our team, and I'm really proud that he came back, or really excited he came back, and I'm proud of him. And I'm excited to see what his senior year brings for him as well, and he finished the season with a 168 average. So just quickly, out of the 12 bowlers that are sent to states every year, we sent 3, Lena Hostler, Keaton Secor, and Lucas Hostler. And I'm always pleased with how our Section 10 bowlers exhibit themselves down in Syracuse. There's a lot of drama sometimes down there. There's a lot of kids that have their own personal coaches. We're bowling against, all of these kids that are they're well over 200 average bowlers, and our kids hold their own, and they do a really good job, and I'm super impressed, and I'm very proud of all of them. And just of special note, our boys bowled Section 7, which was last year's winner and this year's winner, for their first 3 games, and they hung their own. They held their own with them, so much so that the third game they ended up beating them in the third game. So that's a pretty big feat when you're holding yourself as our tiny little Section 10 school against this big Section 5 school. So I was super impressed and very proud of all of the athletes that went down there. Just a couple of special honors. The Section 10 Most Improved Bowler for all of Section 10 was Lucas Hostler. He improved from last year to this year by 39 points. Our Section 10 Outstanding Sportsmanship Award winners were Elizabeth Stevens and Connor Sweet. We have 3 scholar athletes, Jack Rendon, Kelsey Riley, and Lucas Hostler. Our girls' second team All-Northern, she bowled the 5th highest total at sectionals, was Chloe Minkler with an 869. Our boys' second team All-Northern had the 3rd highest total at sectionals with an 1131, Lucas Hostler. And our girls' first team All-Northern with the 3rd highest total at sectionals was Lena Hostler with an 882. So thank you again. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you all next year. Next up is Coach Reynolds, Varsity Girls.
Oh, we're losing a lot. Yeah, I'll just have the managers come up together. Thank you to everybody that can make it tonight. I'm sorry to be redundant, but thanks for coming to honor all of our student athletes. And as always, we have a lot of thank yous, starting with Josh and for all he does, and just an absolutely great guy and so easy to work with. Thank you, Josh. The film crew that did all our games, thank you, everybody. That was awesome. Really appreciate it. Babs for her understanding. I can be difficult, and multiply that times 10 during a basketball season, so thank you. All the coaches sitting over here, thank you so much for all the time you put in with kids. And thank you to Joe. He's more than an assistant. He is a co-coach. He does a tremendous amount every year and year-round, and I'm pretty lucky to have him as our assistant coach. Let me see. And of course, our managers. And if you're here still and we still have room on the stage, I'd like to have you all come up. That would be Maya, Jack, Maggie, Jay, and Chloe. Come on up. Come on.
Slide down, guys. Somebody grabbed it. It was on top of it. Slide. We'd like to see a few manager push-ups that you worked on this year, guys. You ready? No? Okay. I know Chloe will do it. No, just kidding. She'll fall out. Just kidding. Awesome managers. Couldn't ask for much more. And seriously, you're going to blink, and they're going to be on the varsity teams, and they're going to be very good players. So thank you, management. Stay up here, though. You guys can come on up. Watch out for that thing right there. Mary, you especially. I'll start by talking about Ireland. She handled the ball for us, handled the rock. She scored for us in a whole bunch of different ways. She defended some really good guards. Really pleased with the way she handled herself and the confidence that she had. And for her efforts, she was named a second team All-Northern. Great year, I. Next is Mad Dog. This one plays the game with a fire that does not go away. I absolutely love it. Handled the ball for us a lot also. Very good vision of the court, really good passer. Scored from the outside, could finish at the basket. Also a really good rebounder. And for her efforts, she was named a second team All-Northern. Great year, Maddie. Next is Mary. She plays the game with a lot of confidence. She gives us some size and length at the guard/forward position, both offensively and defensively. She came into a game this year against Brushton and where we were struggling offensively and dropped 20 on them and made a huge difference in that game. Also, the thing I like about Mary is she understands my dad jokes and my funny saying that nobody else laughs at, and she just laughs at them to make me feel good. So thank you, Mary, and awesome year, Mary. Next up is Aurora. She's tall, she's long, she's quick, she can jump. I'm pretty sure she's made of elastic because she fell down at least a dozen times this year, and I thought she was done for the year, and 5 seconds later she was getting a rebound. Since the end of the season, we had a lot of time to watch a lot of our games that we didn't get to watch during the year, and I got to notice how much she did for us that doesn't make a stat sheet or get in a newspaper, and she made a huge difference on our team this season. Great year, Aurora. McDonald, last year Avery was a good athlete that played basketball. This year she was a basketball player, and there's a big difference. She made some big gains. She's strong, she's a lockdown defender. She guarded the two-time MVP from Madrid Waddington, their point guard, and held her to single digits, and I'm pretty sure made her cry a couple times. She's also a good shooter, and for her size, an awesome rebounder. And for her efforts, she was named a first team All-Northern. Great year, Avery. Up next is Nevaeh, one of the nicest kids that we've ever had, and at the same time, one of the physically strongest. Multiple times this year, she went for a rebound or a loose ball against somebody from the other team, and Joe and I kind of laughed in unison and said, good luck, because we knew that she was going to be the one that came up with it. Great to see her confidence grow as the season went on. She had a pick and roll layup against Hubleton in a game that put us in the finals. That says it all. She was our sportsmanship award winner from our team. Great season. Good job. Riley, very strong, very tough, a devilish kind of athlete, and very versatile, especially defensive player that could guard almost any position on the court. Sometimes we asked her to guard post players, for example, and at other times we asked her to guard Point guards, like in our sectional game against Lisbon, she guarded an awesome point guard and did a great job on her. And like the rest of the kids on this team, just an awesome girl. Thank you. Good job. And Kaylin Morgan, she led our team in nicknames. She was Kay, she was Big Red, she was TMG, the Morgan girl. She is our post presence on offensive end, really good footwork, a nice touch around the basket, and she's our rim protector on defense. Just a student of the game, really enjoy her approach and her passion and her quest to get better. Great year, Kay, for her efforts. She was named first team All-Northern. Okay. We had a very intelligent team. They received the Scholar Team Award with a team average of 97, which is pretty. Hopefully, we will average that many points next year. I believe they are all Scholar Athlete Award winners, so awesome job, ladies. Beyond that, we knew that if we wanted to get to where we wanted to get this year, we would have to go through an incredible gauntlet of good teams in Class D girls basketball. So we put together a schedule that would best prepare us for that, and we are really pleased with how they responded to that schedule. We knew that we had the athletic ability and we had a nice mix of talent. We knew the time that they put in and the fun they had last year during the spring and summer. We were hoping that that would equate into a lot of fun this year, and it did. We started 0-1 in our regular season on our league schedule. We lost to Mattard Waddington by 4 at home after leading the whole game. It doesn't bother me a bit, really. And then they won 11 in a row, including 2 nice wins against a good St. Lawrence team. And then they went to Mattard Waddington to the Hive and beat them by 10 and earned co-champions of the East Division. And for the first time in a long time, we cut down the nets in our home gym, which was really cool. So. Along the way, we got to get some really nice wins against a good FA team, which made them all smile. We beat a good Northern Adirondack team that beat us earlier in the year. And then after preparing for them at least a dozen times, we were able to beat a good Messina team at the end of the season. And they ended up with an 18-4 overall record. Very, very nice. The sectional run that this young team put together was really cool. As a number 2 seed, they got a bye. They beat a really strong Lisbon team, and then they were able to beat the defending champs, Heuvelton, to get into the finals versus an incredibly strong Hammond team. We didn't win that game, but we gave them a hell of a game, and they ended up being the eventual, this last Sunday, being the state champions. And they won their state games this year by 30, 25, and 25. That's what they won their state games by. So we were not at all disappointed with our effort. And I'm not sure what it is about this group that makes you want to be around them, but they have it. Whatever it is, they have it. They are most definitely goofy, but they are special. Thank you very much, ladies. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you to all our seniors for everything, all across the board, for everything you have given us. Been a lot of fun to watch all of you. And I'd like to say a special thank you to Coach Martin for all that you've done in youth soccer, youth basketball, AAU, Summer League, across the board, buying a shooting machine, hours and hours and hours. Can't say thank you enough, buddy. Thank you.
All right, good evening. For you who stayed, thank you for staying. Thanks, Chris. This was going to be hard enough. I've come up already with crying, so I'm going to do things a little bit differently. So I know my team very well. They don't want to come up here and stand on a stage while I talk about them, so you guys can hang out over there. When we're all done, if you guys and your parents could just meet me out in the foyer, I'll give you your stuff, and I'd get one last hug from everybody, and your parents, one last hug and a handshake. So one of the parts of the awards I hate, because it's the end of everything, is everybody just goes home after. So if you guys would please just hang out and one more hug, one more handshake, I would really appreciate that. Start with some thank yous as well. As always, you should start with your family and my wife. Thank you for everything. Really hard being a coach's wife, especially this coach. Appreciate all your support over the years, everything, especially lately. Jordan, thank you. It's been a dream of mine since you were this high to coach with you, and I hope it would have lasted a lot longer, but I got this year. You're going to be you already are, you're going to be an unbelievable coach. When everybody else his age was watching SpongeBob, he was watching basketball games. And proud of you, bud. Winnie, I don't know if she came or not, but she's going to school for psychology, and she's done a great job with me, so I think she's going to do a great job. She's my counselor. Walker, not hard. It's very hard being a coach's kid and player and all that, so thank you for bearing with me. I know it wasn't the easiest. You guys right here, Chris, Weasel, Joe, you know, no words right now, so I'm going to keep this really short because I'm not going to be able to do it. Just because of this, and I forgot my glasses, so I can't see. I'm going to keep this short. Best manager ever, Addie. You saw Chris up here had 19 managers and 7 players. I got 1 manager. She was great. All right. Awesome. Great manager, better kid. To all my parents, being a parent of a Chateauguay basketball player and the boys, what we do, especially when my kid's involved. I told them I was crazy when we were in kindergarten, and they just kept bringing their kids, tournaments, summer league, basketball camps, you name it. If I put it on there, if I get 5 kids, we're going to Watertown, we're there. Next thing you know, we got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kids. Where and when, tell me how much, they're there. The greatest group of parents. Appreciate all that sincerely. 'Cause my love of the game and just being around you guys. Well, we put family on here, on the back of our shirts. It includes our parents as well. We spent a lot of time in the gyms and the cafeterias and the restaurants, the cars, the hotels together, and so love you guys. Thank you. A couple of the parents that did some other stuff. Josh, thanks for doing our book over the years. Mary, Ben, you guys did the clock here many times at the AU stuff. Thank you guys. Josh, the janitor, super good dude, did a lot of great stuff. Cullen Jones did the book for me. Babs, thank you so much. Above and beyond, especially this year. Appreciate everything. Again, no words. All right, so it is awards night, so we'll just kind of throw out some guys' names and whatever. And we had some, Small Northerns, Tyson Bodan, second team, Ethan Cook, Brando, first team. Walker was MVP. Congratulations to you guys. Ryan Dustin was Sportsmanship Award, and I'm not ever a more deserving fella. A little shout out to Ryan. Quite possibly the best teammate I ever coached. Kid's phenomenal teammate. We had some academic stuff, and I didn't have that stuff to write down, but I'm assuming it was Brando and Tyson, probably Pete. Yeah, nobody else? Yeah. Oh, Harry, yeah, Harry, definitely Harry. I did see you too, Harry. I actually, sorry about that, Harry. Those are our smart players. Good job, smart guys. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up real quick. I mean, I could talk about the team forever, and I mean, most of those guys never lost a league game, undefeated in the league, 2 years, never lost a league game, countless wins and all that. But, you know, just saying I'm proud of you is, you know, an understatement, obviously. Just remember what I told you in the locker room after we lost. That's always the hardest. When you lose, you go back in the locker room and you got all these seniors and these kids that done everything. And, you know, it's a mess and everybody's crying and hugging. And so you got to come up with some words at spur of the moment. And this year's was hard. I got so many seniors that I care and love. You know, and but you know, just remember that. You know, what I told you. You know, that I appreciate everything you've done. The commitment, the time, the hard work. I'll always be there for you. Anything you need, big or small, invite me to your weddings. Name your kids after me, Mikey, Larry. All right. And yeah, I love you guys. I'm up here crying, and I was going to make this long speech, and I actually, the first year was hard, and this is even harder. So I remember the first year, but I actually got pretty good at this as it went. And you know, I can make you laugh, make you cry, but I ain't got it. I don't have it in me. Jordan's year was really, really hard, really close with that team. I did a poem, and I just couldn't come up with the words. So thanks to Sam Briot, who did our film this year. I called him up. And I'll leave you with the little video. Thank you so much, Art. Thank you.
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star. In all the years, no one knows just how hard you worked. But now it shows. In one shining moment, it's all on the line. In one shining moment, they're frozen in time. But time is short and the road is long. In the blinking of an eye, that moment's gone. And when it's done, win or lose, you always did your best. 'Cause inside you knew that in one shining moment you reached deep inside. One shining moment you knew you were alive. Feel the beat of your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a race. Win or lose, you always did your best. 'cause inside you knew